What's up, everybody? Today's video is on 5 underrated, underloved, underappreciated, underutilized, underpantsed. No, that doesn't work. That one doesn't work. The other ones worked. That one doesn't work. 5 underrated units in the RTA meta. Now, I know a lot of us, when we do our RTAs, I know I'm talking to 10% of the people watching. 90% of people like, RTA, yeah, RTA, like I do that. Okay, so for the 10% of you watching, I know a lot of you, when you go into RTA matches, you're like, oh, if I only had this monster, I could run this comp. If I only had that monster, I could run that comp. And we think about like, oh, the opponent picked this. And we rack our brains like, what can I pick? What can I pick that's gonna counter this? I'm gonna lose. Oh, I have no idea what I'm gonna pick. And then you let the timer run out and you pick something else, and then you lose because you picked the wrong thing, or you didn't even think about like, oh, you know what, I didn't think about that. That's actually really strong. I should have ruined that up. Anyway, today we're going to talk about yada yada yada. Today we're going to talk about 5 underrated RTA picks in the current meta. Now, disclaimer, these are more last picks. These are not really as many first picks, because if you first pick them, your opponent can just pick around them and go from there. But, well, some of these you could possibly do decent with if you first picked it, weirdly enough. But most of these I would consider like last picks, to see what your opponent is picking and then pick from there. The first picks are more reserved for the more meta units, like kind of even banning out things that your opponent is possibly going to pick themselves. So that's why these are more last picks. Anyway, let's get it started. I think you know the first one. Yeah, I think you know the first one. Jameer is actually a really cool monster. So the two things, I really don't care about Jameer's first skill, and I really don't care about Jameer's second skill. The third skill and the speed lead are the important things. Jameer doesn't work with every comp though. If you're running like a Lauren Verti-heal comp, and you're with some other things, like not quite exactly the number one thing that I would pick with that, but because it's all passives, right? But Jameer has a full, first of all, he's got a speed lead, which is great. Speed lead, Vanessa is meta, Ciara is meta, a lot of different speed leads are meta, because when you outspeed the opponent, you have a really good chance to, it's much easier to win if you take turn 1, right? Because then you can kind of start to control the match if possible. So, speed lead is great. Everyone knows that. Everyone knows speed lead is great. Full skill reset that cannot be reset itself. So there's benefits to having that, as well as, I mean, like this is great with so many different things. This is really great with Daphnis, I feel. I don't see really a lot of people using it with Daphnis. The downside of using this with Daphnis is Daphnis has low, also like on a Swift, super fast Swift Daphnis. It's easier to use Vanessa because Vanessa has a 33% lead, and Daphnis is so hard to get him really fast with his base speed. That's one of the drawbacks to using this with Daphnis, but it's really good with Swift units like Okinos, like Swift Hathor, Swift Ganymede even. There's a little, like the Ganymede and the Jameer can't really reset themselves based on how their skills work, but it's still really strong. Also, it's strong if you, like, for the same reason Ganymede is strong. Like, if you don't have Ganymede, Jameer is great for the same places that you would use Ganymede. And also has a speed lead, which is awesome. Awesome. You can even use this with Gianna too. If you have a Gianna, you're like, oh, Jameer Gianna. Didn't think about that till now. Really great monster. But he's really for things that have really strong skill 3s that have long cooldowns. So, definitely underrated. And you saw even Baryon. Baryon hasn't played RT in like over a month. But you even saw Baryon using this with the Yenhong, Molong, Daphnis, Tableau. What else was he using? Some stuff like that. So he was using it with a comp like that. And it was kind of interesting, but you could use it in the same way. Not necessarily the same units, but just the same mindset, the same way that he was using it. You can potentially use it. So what else? What's the next one? Underrated number 2. Underpantsed number 2. Ramahan. Another speed lead, but it's only wind. Think about when you are going into an RTA match, or even take this into Guild Wars too. Think about when you're going into any PvP. What do you need to do? You want to outspeed. You want to strip the will runes or whatever, will and shield. You want a defense break, and you want to nuke. Well, Second Awakened Ramahan has a strip, defense break, a speed lead, and a big nuke. He does everything. He does basically everything. There's so much utility in one package. It's awesome. If you have like a healer that also defense buffs, you are kind of set for like having everything in the game. Like, having you cleanse and immunity, but that's besides the point. The point is he brings a lot in that package. He's very good. And with things that you're potentially going to do on Swift, like for example, Swift Olivia. A lot of people like to use Ramahan, Swift Olivia, or even Swift Demesity in a Copper Bulldozer kind of thing. Tiana, even he can work with Tiana. He can work with, again, Gani Hathor. Tyrannus is a great combination with him. It's less about the turn 1 in that situation, but it's really nice because he's got the defense break and got some nuke damage, two nukers. Really nice. I mean, this is also weak against, for example, Ciara, Lucian. But if you're trying to take turn 1 anyway, then you're trying to control the match. You're not trying to get Lucianed, of course. Are we ever trying to get Lucianed? But also, I put Ethna in there. I think that's really strong with Ethna because she's got 119 base speed. So you could definitely outspeed if the enemy's not like picking a super insane fast speed set. Like you could outspeed with the Ethna and do the skill 2 and then do Ramahan's nonsense after that. So it's a win speed lead, but it's really nice after the Second Awakening. Ramahan was always good, but now he's just much better. I think he's an underrated unit. Next one, Sekhmet. Oh, Sekhmet. Again, I think this is an underrated unit. Pros. A lot of people don't really like. She got a few buffs. She's pretty nice. Strip and reset available. So she's skill 3. Strip. Should not even just strip. Strip and steals beneficial effects. It's more reliable than Okinos because Okinos is like, oh, if they have shield and will, you're gonna strip one of those and reset. This one steals all of them, everything that they have, plus resets, and also it's available sooner than Okinos is if she successfully strips, and if she doesn't strip it successfully, then it's available again. So she was buffed. A lot of people still not really paying attention to her, even though she was buffed, and she's definitely better now. She's got 4 debuffs, which you generally rune her with way more accuracy than you rune a Bastet, so she should be landing them. Also, 4 debuffs fire unit against Gani Hathor stuff, against Ciara, so it should we want to think that it's gonna land, but Skill 3 also. Skill 3 has a 720% multiplier. It actually hits really hard. Well, if you rune it for damage, it can hit really hard. Gani has a really high 3rd skill multiplier as well, just if you guys are curious. But it's really strong against things that have, of course, a bunch of buffs, and against things that prevent revives. It's also strong against, like, what else? Well, it's strong against the Dark Druid as well. It's strong against Triana. He's strong against a lot of stuff. Anything that has a lot of buffs, anything that has skills that you want to put on cooldown. One of the nice things is people are kind of getting used to, if there's an Okinos, they're going to bring a Josephine. So they don't want to get like, oh, AoE stuns. But I just feel like Sekhmet's nice. Or they'll bring multiple buffs, and then they'll be like, good luck trying to strip one. I like Sekhmet. I think Sekhmet's underrated. I'm not saying she's like a triple S tier unit, but I think she's underrated. I don't remember what I was saying. Oh, there's a lot of passives in the meta, so it's less usable against those, but I think she's an underrated unit. I was going to say something else. I forgot what I was going to say. Oh well, moving on. Next one, Tessarion. We all know Tessarion's good. He was meta, like, and there's still people using him. Don't get me wrong. There's still people using him, but there's less people using him than before, and there's so many strong passives. Like, there's so many strong passives. The thing is, like, one of the reasons Saren is less used is a lot of times with the passives, there's multiple sources of immunity. When there's like tanky bruisery passives, or if there's like passives that they're trying to outspeed you and do crazy things, like for example Nephthys Tiana, Nephthys Gianna, some things at super high level. It's like, well, it's hard to do Tessarion into that because you're gonna get outsped, defense broken, nuked, etc., etc. He does still have a resistance lead, which is nice against some things. Not necessarily against Nephthys, but if he's taken turn 2, like if it's going to be like a longer drawn out match, he's got the resistance lead, which is not bad. He's got a defense break. Remember, he also does damage based on the amount of enemy debuffs as well. So the more debuffs on them from other debuffs or whatever, do more damage. But there's so many passives. There's so many strong passives too. Like especially like Leona. A lot of Leona users are like, oh, I'm just going to last pick Leona, and then you have to ban it if you don't have stuff ready for it. But this is strong against a lot of the LD5s and a lot of the meta units. So I'm just surprised. He was meta, and I'm just surprised he's not being used more this season. The last one, I mean, I figured that's not... It's not really too shocking to see Saren on here. It's just like people kind of forgot. They knew he was good, and then they kind of forgot about him recently. Some people still use him, but a lot of people like forgot. Me included, myself included. Last one... You didn't see this one coming. I know you didn't see this one coming. Okay, so Water Frankenstein. Passive, immune to defense break. Self buffs attack bar when hit. Defense scaling damage, stun, and provoke. He is not a... He's really weak against Ciara. I don't think I have to say that. He's really weak against Ciara. Depending on what the opponent is picking into you. If they're picking Ciara, Gani, Hathor, maybe Tractor's not the pick for you. But he is strong, especially against Lauren. Like, what is Lauren? Lauren's got a defense break and attack gauge pushback. Well, he's immune to defense break, and he's going to push it right back up. So, a unit that a lot of people don't really think about. I think an underrated unit for RTA. Again, not a first pick. Please do not pick him first unless you want to lose. He's more like a last pick to see what your opponents are using. But he's strong against a few of the meta units. So I remember even losing to this guy a couple of seasons ago. I was like... Because it was just so out of nowhere. I was like, Tractor? What the hell? Like... Okay, respect. That guy was really strong against me. Against what I don't even remember what I picked, but yeah, solid unit, underrated unit against a few of the things in the meta. Not super first pick, but anyway, hope you guys enjoyed it. I actually have a lot more than just this. There's a lot more that I think are underrated. Basically, you think everything is underrated. You think every dumb monster that people are gonna pick is underrated. Listen, maybe. But hope you guys enjoyed it. That's it for this one, and I will see you. What else? What do you? You know what? What do you think is underrated in the current meta? There's some good units out there that really like. We just think about the meta. We think about the tier list. We're like, we pick whatever everyone else is picking, and we're just used to seeing it, so we pick it ourselves instead of thinking like, ooh, this could be really strong here. So anyway, that's for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you as always in the next one.